is concerned, it's about medical labs management system based on the requirements of ISO 15189. This is the sequence of my talk today. I will just give a brief introduction about myself and the company. And we have two modules. Module 1 is about the concepts of lab accreditation, and module 2 is overview of ISO 15189 through its clauses. And if any organization, any laboratory wish to go for this accreditation, what is the project execution? And we have question answer session also. I will request all the participants, if you have any question, you can just note down the slide number, and you can also write on the chat box. I can ensure that all your questions and queries will be answered. But during my talk, if we allow everybody to speak, it will be difficult to manage this session. I am Hasib Tahir Baig. I am heading this organization. I am the founding CEO of this company, and I am basically aeronautical engineer. I served in the Air Force. So it's been 25 years that we are providing consulting and training to various organizations. And as of today, we have provided consulting, trainings, and auditing to over 1,000 clients across the region. That includes Pakistan and few GCC countries. Alhamdulillah, we have a large network, and we have a team of highly experienced professionals. And we have a proven success as far as ISO consulting is concerned, especially with reference to healthcare. On the right-hand side, you can see a few names of some international and global organizations जिनको हमने मुख्तलिफ औकात में consultancy provide की है on various projects, on various assignments. That includes World Bank, ILO, International Labour Organization, German Council, UNIDO, World Food Programme, etc., etc. As far as our Core Competence and Speciality is concerned, you can see here these 4 different divisions within our company. One deals with the certifications and compliances. We provide consulting on various ISO standards, ISO 9000, 14000, 45000, and so on. And the other one is information systems, information security management, business continuity, risk assessment, vulnerability assessment, and all that. Then is our laboratory accreditation division, in which we provide consulting related to ISO 17025, 15189, and 17020. 17020 is related to inspections. And on the right-hand side, you can see our business excellence division, in which we provide consulting on lean manufacturing, 5S, Kaizen, productivity enhancement, and so on. So this is as far as our company is concerned, and our spread, our network is across Pakistan. You can see here on this view foil. We have professional training development center also. We provide on-site trainings also. If some organization wish to get their people trained, we provide on-site trainings also. We conduct commercial trainings, seminars, workshops, starting from foundation to advanced lead implementer level. And we have provided training to over 12,000 industry professionals across the region. This view foil, you will be interested to know who are our clients in healthcare sector. इसमें आप ये देख सकते हैं शौकत खानम, चुगताई लैब, सर्विसेज हॉस्पिटल, शालीमार हॉस्पिटल, डॉक्टर्स, एक्सेल लैब, अल खिदमत डायग्नोस्टिक सेंटर, अल नसर, and so on. And on the right hand side, these are some pharmaceutical companies where we provided consulting related to ISO 17025 and 15189. ISO 17025 is lab management system for any labs other than medical. And 15189, जिसमें आपकी हिस्टोपैथोलॉजी आ जाती है, हेमाटोलॉजी, हेमोलॉजी, माइक्रोबायोलॉजी, केमिकल, and all that, right? So this is our profile. As far as this training is concerned, the basic objective of today's session is to clear the concepts about lab accreditation and provide basic understanding on this standard ISO 15189, right? And if you have any questions, queries, doubts, anything, I'll be available to answer those queries through your written questions that you are going to put in the chat box. And even after that, you have our contact, you have our email addresses, you have our website, Facebook, and everything. Any query, anything, we will be pleased to handle those queries. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as far as lab accreditation is concerned, we would like to talk about the basics and concepts related to ISO. आप ये देखें, you must have heard various standards on quality, environment, occupational health and safety, security, social compliances. If we say ISO 9000, the standard that gives requirements for quality management system is ISO 9000. For environmental management, it is 14,000. For occupational health and safety, it is 45,000. CTPAT, Customer Trade Partnership Agreement Against Terrorism, and ISO 26,000 or Free Trade Agreement or SEDEX are for social compliances. All these standards that you see here on this view foil are generic in nature because they do not go into technicalities. Like ISO 9000 can be applied in any IT company, any lab, any chemical plant, any engineering setup, anywhere, because these standards that are shown here gives requirements for management aspects, whereas these standards that you see here that are sector specific standards for inspection and for testing and calibration, the standard is ISO 17025. For medical labs, pathological labs, it is 15189. For textile, it is OCOTEX. For engineering products, it is CMARC. And for inspections, ISO 17020. Now, all these are sector specific. ISO 15189 किसी और लैब में अप्लाई नहीं किया जा सकता, किसी आईटी कंपनी में या किसी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेटअप में नहीं किया जा सकता. इट इज ओनली एंड ओनली स्पेसिफिक टू मेडिकल एंड पैथोलॉजिकल लैब्स, राइट? Similarly, 17025 is applicable only for testing and calibration labs other than medical. By the way, if we talk of 17025 and 15189, these both standards are very similar. थोड़ी बहुत चेंजेस हैं जो मैं आपको डिस्कस करेंगे हम मॉड्यूल 2 में, but they are almost the same. Now, what is difference between accreditation and certification? Accreditation is a bit higher, which is granted by accreditation bodies that are recognized by ILAC, International Laboratory Accreditation Corporation. It is internationally accepted and it is based on management and technical requirements. Whereas certification is granted only for generic standards, ISO 9000, 14,000, 45,000, and is awarded and granted by CBs. CB means certification bodies, right? So it is lower than the accreditation and it is based on management requirements, right? So this is the difference between, so 15189 ki kya hogi? Accreditation, which will be granted by the authoritative government body. And in our country, it is Pakistan National Accreditation Council. That we will see in the next slide. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what is lab accreditation? Lab accreditation hai kya? This is the process in which an authoritative body give recognition that the lab is fully competent to perform testing and its results are accurate and precise. So if any laboratory, any medical laboratory is accredited for ISO 15189, it means their result will be internationally, regionally, or nationally accepted. Because all the accreditation bodies have signed mutual recognition agreement that they will accept the accreditation certification among all the accreditation bodies. Abhi accreditation bodies ka, there are different accreditation bodies around the world. पाकिस्तान में, अब यूएसए में देखें, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, पाकिस्तान में जो एक्रेडिटेशन बॉडी है उसका नाम है पीएनएसी, पाकिस्तान नेशनल एक्रेडिटेशन काउंसिल, राइट? यूएसए में A2LA है, ANSI है. USA has 3 accreditation bodies. Otherwise, generally, it's one in a country, which is a government body. इसका सेटअप क्या है पाकिस्तान में जो नेशनल एक्रेडिटेशन काउंसिल है? It comes under Ministry of Science and Technology, and PNAC is headed by a Director General. इसके 3 divisions हैं. One deals with the lab accreditations, जिसमें medical labs हैं और industrial or commercial labs हैं, other than medical also. And they have a separate section for accreditation of inspection bodies. And the third one is accreditation of certification bodies. So this is the overall setup of Ministry of Science and Technology of Pakistan National Accreditation Council under Ministry of Science and Technology. As I said, MRA stands for Mutual Recognition Agreement. इसकी जो टॉप मोस्ट एंटिटी है, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जो इसको कंट्रोल करती है, वो है ILAC. You can go through the website of this body. Total अभी तक 90 accreditation bodies है around the world, right? So Pakistan is also Pakistan also has one accreditation body. ILAC arrangement जो होती है, that is called Mutual Recognition Agreement, and PNAC signed Mutual Recognition Agreement in 2009. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as far as this process of accreditation is concerned, this is done in 5 steps. सबसे पहले, any lab that wish to go for the accreditation has to go through this process of baseline assessment, RGA, review and gap analysis, in which you map your system and compare it with the requirements. Standard की requirement क्या कह रही है, आप क्या कर रहे हैं, what is the deviation and what is your rating. इसमें ऊपर आपकी एक tangible, measurable rating होती है, 40%, 60%, 70%. So what are the gaps and what are the solutions? So this is very important. So step 1, review and gap analysis, is the backbone of this project to make it a success. Second step is system development, in which you develop your policies, procedures, guidelines, SOPs, and all that. Third is implementation and auditing through trainings. Once the lab is ready, Then you invite PNAC, they conduct your pre-assessment, and finally full assessment. So similar process like ISO 17025. The process is absolutely the same. सिर्फ इसमें कुछ clauses का difference है. So 15189 is basically, it gives you the requirements based on best practices, that what a lab should do to ensure that their test results are accurate and precise, right? So you need accuracy and precision. What is accuracy? Closeness to the true value. And precision, the deviations between your readings. So you need both accuracy and precision, right? So how to improve accuracy and precision, and how to eliminate or reduce errors. So that's what this standard tells you. And for that, these are the 6 pillars. इस पूरे standard को अगर आप map कर दें and you segregate in different levels, so these are the 6 pillars which you need to work on to ensure that you meet the requirements of ISO 15189. Number 1, personnel. जो लोग काम कर रहे हैं लैब में, उनका competence level क्या है? How do you select it? How do you train it? So all that is covered in this. We will talk further when we discuss technical requirements in module 2. Second, infrastructure and work environment. कि जिस facility में आप कर रहे हैं वहां पे आपकी क्या conditions हैं, क्या support available है, what is the environmental conditions and all that. And the third one is equipment management. कि जो आप equipment use कर रहे हैं वो properly maintained है, calibrated है. And fourth is test method. You may be having state-of-the-art equipment. You may be having best of the best people. But if you do not use right method, you will never get accurate or precise results. Similarly, use of chemicals. जो chemical kit, reagents और materials use कर रहे हैं, उसके मुतालिक requirements दी गई हैं. And the 6th one is system ensuring validity of test. यानी कि आपके test result, what is your confidence level? If you give me the report or the result and I ask you what is your confidence level, what is the accuracy, so you should be able to give some tangible, statistically prove results. So for that, you have different ways and means to ensure कि आपके जो test results हैं वो validated हैं, accurate हैं, precise. वो क्या होता है उसमें? Replicate testing है, retesting है, measurement of uncertainty है, proficiency. Details हम बाद में इसमें discuss करेंगे. Right now, just see these 3 things. Number 1, personnel, infrastructure and work environment, equipment management, test methods, chemicals, and system to ensure the validity of your test results. These are the 6 pillars for lab accreditation. Details हम इसमें करेंगे. So this was just basic concept, general. But now we will be getting into the standard. Standard से क्या मुराद है? ISO 15189 का standard. कोई भी ISO का standard है, उसकी जो structure है, that starts with the scope. कि ये standard कहाँ पे apply कर सकते हैं. Then is normative reference, जो उसमें references दिए हैं. And third is terms and definition. So ISO 15189 में 15 management requirements हैं and 10 technical requirements. So the main requirements हैं, they start from clause 4. You can see here on this view file. These are the 15 Management requirements. This is just the summary. इसको हम one by one discuss करेंगे quickly. So this is the summary of management requirements that starts with clause 4. Clause 4 जो है वो management requirements के ऊपर है. 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. Similarly, there are 10 clauses for technical requirements, as you can see here on this view file. So as I said in the beginning, 15189 and 17012 are absolutely the same with slight changes in some clauses, like 5.4 clause जो है pre-examination process, ये सिर्फ 15189 में होता है. इसी तरीके से एग्जामिनेशन प्रोसेस, इसी तरीके से पोस्ट एग्जामिनेशन प्रोसेस, ये है स्पेसिफिक टू 15189 which are not considered in ISO 17025, जो कि नॉर्मल अदर लैब्स के लिए स्टैंडर्ड है. मैनेजमेंट की रिक्वायरमेंट क्लॉज 4.1, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एंड मैनेजमेंट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. Standard requires that the laboratory where you are working must have a defined, documented organization structure. And the laboratory must ensure confidentiality and impartiality. So how do we ensure? What are the implementation steps? Laboratory जो है registered lab होनी चाहिए, और अगर ये एक organization का हिस्सा है तो वो registered organization होनी चाहिए, either with Security Exchange Commission or with any body. Organization structure, job description, your policy. What is your policy on confidentiality and impartiality, and defining clear responsibility? So this is requirement of clause 4.1. 4.2 में क्या है जी? Management system, quality management system. Quality management system के objectives define होने चाहिए, आपकी quality policy define होनी चाहिए, and it must be demonstrated through records. Okay. So quality policy or the objectives is not just a slogan. The objectives should be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. As far as this session is concerned, this is just a short awareness session, और जो हम अपने 2 days, 3 days का लीड इम्प्लीमेंटर कोर्सेज करवाते हैं, उसमें हम फिर डिटेल डिस्कशन डिटेल्स में जाते हैं. So right now I'll just be going a bird's eye view of these clauses so that we can have the basic concept of these standards. 4.3 is related to document requirement, कि आपकी policies, lab system procedures, SOPs, related forms. So what is the structure of documentation in your laboratory? Control of documents, filing system, record keeping, indexing, right? So identification tags on all your files, folders, registered. Then you have a master list. What all files, folder, registers that you have in the laboratory must be defined. 4.4 clause है service agreements. Now, so this is for the commercial laboratories. If you go for an agreement with any organization for testing, you must ensure that you have the competence of performing those tests, right? So how will you consider the request? So agreement जितने भी किए जाते हैं उसका एक requirement दी हुई है इस clause में 4.4 में. Referral. Any activity that you like an organization or a client may give you the testing requirements for 8, 5, 6, 7 different parameters, and maybe you can perform 5 out of those. So what is the system that you can refer it to other labs. So what is the selection and evaluation system? So इसके ऊपर 4.5 clause जो है अपनी requirement से supplies the chemicals that you purchase. जो आप मार्केट से इक्विपमेंट लेते हैं, केमिकल्स लेते हैं, उसके लिए यू मस्ट हैव अ सिस्टम. हाउ डू यू सेलेक्ट द सप्लायर? हाउ डू यू मेंटेन द रिकॉर्ड? हाउ डू यू इनिशिएट purchase and procurement process? How do you carry out the inspections? What is the criteria? What is the criteria for selecting a chemical supplier? What inspections you carry out to ensure that the chemicals that you get are of right purity? अगर केमिकल्स आपको आ रहे हैं, उनके साथ सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ एनालिसिस हैं, मटेरियल सेफ्टी डेटा शीट है, केमिकल्स की प्योरिटी ठीक है, सो ऑल दैट इज कवर्ड अंडर क्लॉज 4.6. 4.7 में एडवाइजरी सर्विस, so which is this clause is not applicable in case of 17025. So जो मेडिकल लैब्स की एक्रेडिटेशन है 15189, उसमें रिक्वायरमेंट दी हुई है to provide evidence of choice of tests if a patient comes to you. But in your case, mostly the prescription is done by the doctors. But even then, you being the technical persons, you have to see the requirements for taking those tests. मैं simple सी example देता हूँ. If the prescription is for a patient that he or she has to go through these tests. So when they come to you with that prescription, then you have to see कि क्या इस टेस्ट की requirement meet हो रही है. अगर just an example, if a patient comes to you for glucose fasting, so you have to see whether the requirement is met or not, right? So ये standard ये require करता है कि आपके पास एक primary मैनुअल होना चाहिए कि जिसमें तमाम ये requirements, मुख्तलिफ टेस्ट की requirements define की. Then is what is your system for resolving the complaints? How do you record complaints? How do you take action? So इसके लिए you must have some defined and documented system, and you must maintain the complaint logs also. Identification and control of non-conforming activities. Okay, just in case इसकी मैं example आपको देता हूँ. You must have a system of observing the abnormalities, right? Your lab conducted X number of tests, and you find out that your equipment is malfunctioning, it is under reading or over reading. So what is the system? जो आपने टेस्ट परफॉर्म किए हैं, उनको आप किस तरीके से इंश्योर करेंगे कि कस्टमर तक वो गलत रिपोर्ट्स ना पहुंचें. So what is the system that needs to be identified? So ये स्टैंडर्ड क्लॉज कहता है कि आपके सिस्टम में इतनी जान होनी चाहिए, आपका सिस्टम इतना रोबस्ट होना चाहिए कि जहां पे कोई एनी अबनॉर्मेलिटी है उसको फौरन आइडेंटिफाई किया जाए. और उसका रिकॉल का क्या सिस्टम है, कौन ऑथराइज्ड है डिसीजन मेकिंग में, क्या एक्शंस लेने हैं. So all that, this clause for the medical labs 4.9 is very, very important, because the test reports that you give are very important for the patient, right? So you must have a system by which you have the ability to find out the abnormalities as quickly as possible, right? 4.10, 11, 12, they talk about corrective, preventive actions and improvements. So how do you take the corrective? If there is any problem, you identify the problem, how do you carry out the root cause analysis, how you conduct the follow-up, how do you see the effectiveness of, if in case of any complaint, in case of any abnormality, in case of any misinformation, what action, what is the system, how do you identify the problem, how do you conduct the root cause analysis, and how do you follow it up. So this clause addresses these requirements. Clause 13 है about the control of records. Records क्या होते हैं? Technical records, lab notes, physical records, files, folders, registers. Your test reports is also a record. How do you maintain the records? What is the system that needs to be identified? So ये standard जो है ये आपको requirements देते हैं कि जी standard की ये requirement है कि आप records को properly maintain करें और ensure करें the records are accessible, records are maintained properly, and they are authentic, and their integrity is maintained, right? Evaluation and audits. किसी भी सिस्टम की हेल्थ एंड स्टेट देखने के लिए ऑडिट्स किए जाते हैं, evaluation की जाती है. Where do you stand? So standard required that you should have a system of feedback. पेशेंट का फीडबैक सिस्टम होना चाहिए, स्टाफ की सजेशन का सिस्टम होना चाहिए, इंटरनल ऑडिटिंग का सिस्टम होना चाहिए, रिस्क मैनेजमेंट की मेथोडोलॉजी डिफाइन होनी चाहिए, फ्रीक्वेंसी डिफाइन होनी चाहिए, एंड व्हाट आर द क्वालिटी इंडिकेटर्स और KPIs to see the health and state of your laboratory. So this 4.14 talks about the evaluation and audits. Auditing जो है, audit cycle, standard requires that it must be done at least once a year. And you must have trained auditors available in your organization who can conduct the audits. So audit cycle क्या होता है? Standard कहता है साल में कम से कम एक मर्तबा करें. You can do it twice, you can do it quarterly. Plan the audit, annual plan बना होना चाहिए. Execute, conduct the audits, audit report, corrective action and follow up. ये सारी चीजें कहलाती हैं audit cycle. You have hematology, histopathology, microbiology. So all these labs must go through this audit cycle, right? And the last one, and then the risk assessment. Last one is management review. Your management review is headed by head of the organization to find out, to see what is the feedback, what are the complaints, problems क्या आई, audit के results क्या थे, where do we stand. So all these are covered in clause 15. और उसका proper standard में agenda identify है कि what all is to be covered in management review meetings so that you evaluate yourself. और ये भी quarterly basis पे good practices ये it must be done quarterly. लेकिन standard कहता है कि कम से कम साल में एक मर्तबा management review होना चाहिए, right? So this is about management requirements. We are left with 3 minutes. We can just go through, so we can just start the technical requirements also. So अगर इसको हम recap करें, so there are 15 clauses. आपको you need not to worry. आप में से जिन लोगों ने previous trainings भी हमारी conduct की हैं, attend की हैं, you will get the training slides through our website, and you will also get the certificates, right? So we are left with 2.5 minutes.